This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Get real.
You all ready for this? Dun 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 dun.
No.
Nope.
Y'all, just
This
stop.
is a sham.
Welcome to DBL. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Lindsay is joining the panel.
I'm back.
You had so
Thanks
much
for
fun.
having
You
me.
came back.
It was too fun, so I'll be here again.
Well, the conversation already started before the show started, so let's get right into this one, okay? We have a big update on the Rust movie set. What were we talking about this one, too? I thought we were starting off with Linda Evangelista, but we also were talking about this one. The family of Helena Hutchins filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Alec Baldwin and the producers of the movie. The suit lists lapse in safety on the set that they claimed led to her death. Lawyers for the family also released a CG video reenactment of the shooting and a warning to our viewers, what you are about to see is graphic. So the video shows the gun and ammo and the difference between a live round and a typical dummy round. It also shows Baldwin sitting in a pew 4 feet from the members of the crew, right there as you see, drawing the gun and shooting Helena and the movie's director. Lawyers for Alec Baldwin and fellow producers did respond, telling Deadline, quote, any claims that Alec was reckless is entirely false. Now let's get to this video flat away. What did you guys think about this video, and is this leading in any of your eyes?
I think you need a video in this day and age for anybody, like a jury or a judge, to see, because they really want to see that. They also put out another video, I want to show you really quick, where they actually spent money to make Alec Baldwin's face, so it really lands that this is the guy that held the gun, that it didn't say in the script he needed to cock or pull the trigger, and he did so anyway. Now, if I were on the other side, I might say, hey, this is really leading. However, I don't know if a judge would sustain that or overrule that, because at some point, he's the defendant. He was on the set and he did shoot her. So I think it's an effective video.
And if you're the family of the person who died, aren't you going to do every single thing you can to get some semblance of justice for, you know, losing somebody in your family? And so I think they're just doing what they need to do in order to fight the case, because Alec Baldwin is a powerful person with tons of money. And so everybody was going to think that he's going to win this case regardless. But he actually was overseeing the production, with it being his production company, and an actor in the film. And so it's like a lot of fault lies on you. Half a dozen people walked off the set because of, they said that there were issues with safety handlings. And so those are a lot of the union people that Tori was telling me. I didn't realize that they were in the union, but you know when you're in the union what is allowed and what's not allowed. And he seemed like he was cutting corners in order to make his own indie film dreams come true, and somebody died.
Amen. I absolutely think you're right.
This is the third time I've looked at this, and I'm wondering, is the jury just going to take this video at face value? This isn't actual footage. This is a reenactment. Right. I know that there are people that can recreate based on physics and trajectory and things like that. But, I mean, if we are going to accept that that is what happened, which I'm assuming they'll have to prove, that was the first time I looked, and it seemed like Alec Baldwin pointed the gun at them rather than... in my head, I kept picturing like it was a scene and it kind of went over somebody's shoulder. It just looked like somebody was just kind of sitting off to the side and then pointed a gun that they thought was empty. So I don't know, that reenactment right there, because there's no one in front of them, and it looks like some people are chatting.
And now,
well, see, this is what I mean. I think you're getting into too much detail. We don't know exactly where these people were, right?
No, they do. This is all on trajectory. They literally did base this on the measurements they had.
But here's what I'm getting at, and I guess we're going to go down this road here. If you say someone gets shot accidentally, right, through a wall by a police officer, and then you paint a picture of those people inside smoking weed, drinking, they're half naked, and you just show that lifestyle that they're living, you're painting a different picture than what happened, right? So now we're painting this picture with Alec Baldwin's face on there, shooting, and then blood coming out. It's a very detailed photograph that if we take this into consideration as for what really happened, that we're making it up based on what happened without video evidence, this is a slippery slope we're going to be moving down moving forward, because as a defense attorney, you could make any video you want and paint any picture that you want the jury to see.
I would normally agree with you, but I disagree, because this was based on first-hand witness accounts. There were people chatting. She was behind the camera, and the scene didn't call for him to raise or cock the gun. He put it to the camera, apparently, in some kind of cool way he wanted to look, and accidentally, as he said, pulled it. So why is this not allowed? If you could show graphs with red lines, why can't you show a video
Alex Baldwin people at the end that I just read said this is completely false.
Right.
So there's two sides to the story.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I guess we could keep going, but we got to get to Linda Evangelista, right? Because that's what we were talking about earlier. So former supermodel Linda Evangelista is opening up about a cosmetic procedure she said left her deformed. Linda is on the cover of this week's edition of People magazine, where she talked about the cool sculpting procedure that went wrong. She said the treatments on her chin, legs, or her chin, thighs, and chest were supposed to kill the fat by freezing it. Instead, it had the reverse effect and caused the fatty tissue to her body. So, to thicken and expand. She also tried liposuction, but the fat just returned, so she's now suing for $50 million. This is the part that I want to get to, and told People magazine she just wanted a slight improvement to her body. Let's listen.
It was supposed to be non-invasive, not painful, no surgery. And that expression, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is, sort of came to fruition on me there.
All right, so we were talking about before the show started, is that too much money? If you're not going to make that much money for the rest of your life, is it fair to sue for that much money? This is kind of a jump off point for any time you sue somebody. Should you be able to sue for $100 million if you're never going to see that money in your life?
But I feel like that's you saying that she's not going to make that. You don't know what she was going to make. And so
I'm pretty confident she wouldn't make $50 million.
I understand that you think that's high, but also it's like she said that the fat cells actually hurt on her body. It's like not how the procedure is supposed to go. Even in the fine print, if it says that, she's like, okay, I'm walking around with this pain. And then it's not just about how much she would make acting or being a supermodel. It's really about, like, say she walked down a red carpet the same way that Naomi Campbell's on the cover of a magazine. Designers dress her. She doesn't have to pay for her own clothes a lot of the times when she's seen in public. I don't think that anybody was going to want to dress her as much, at least, that they used to, because it's a different body type, and we already have issues with people that are different shapes getting dressed on red carpets. So this is a lot of money she's going to be spending on different things that she didn't even plan to spend it on. And I think $50 million is like, well, what do you base your, she probably has the stars in the dream for her.
There's medical malpractice insurance.
And she should be able to sue. That's not what I'm saying,
exactly,
right? But I'm saying, sorry, keep going.
No, I was just going to say that's what we're working with here, and I think a lot of times we start talking about punitive damages. Yes, there is like what they could make, but it's like the impact on our life, and this does seem like it makes a major impact, obviously. But what we've talked about, Jeff, before this, when we've done different reality shows, and I don't know if you guys have ever had cosmetic surgery. I had LASIK. You have to sign your life away. So I don't know.
Issue.
So I wonder what
That's
she
my
signed,
issue.
when people get cool sculpting, what rights they do sign away, because I would assume with any kind of cosmetic procedure where you're going to be invasive, I would think that they would protect themselves. So I'm just wondering what protections they had in place to make sure that if they did have a negative reaction, which you have to assume is going to happen every 1,000 procedures.
It's 1% of the people get this. Yeah.
You would just assume that they would protect themselves. So I'm interested to see.
I think it's a piece of mind worth, though.
But the whole case comes down to what she signed. And if the fine print says you may experience weird fat cells, or however they put it, and she signed that, she has given away her right to sue. So although I think she deserves it, she sued knowing that she signed something that could have caused that. I don't think she wins this one.
Yeah, I mean, I know they make you sign something for LASIK, so we'll see.
All right, coming up on DBL, our interview with the amazing and talented Darius Rucker. He tells us the funny way Hootie and the Blowfish formed when he was in college. And Bridgerton meets The Bachelor, Al's favorite, the new dating show that goes back in time with everything from castles to carriages.
Closed captioning provided by
So the problem with the fine print is that you don't normally read it. And when she said things are too good to be true, they aren't if you had actually read the fine print. They say 1% or whatever.
That kind of fine print doesn't always hold up, though.
It seems like it almost
But
never does.
it certainly of course, but it protects them from major problems like this. I would assume if she signed away knowing it could happen, I have a hard time understanding how she
I don't
could
want to
win.
talk out of school. Didn't Kathy Griffin have issues with her LASIK? Somebody famous had a really bad reaction. I think so. Yes. And I mean, I got LASIK before. I got LASIK. This is back when my dad was still alive. Back in Cleveland. I paid for it, and I paid for my LASIK in $50 bills at a random office center and in cash.
That's a risk you take.
And it was great. It still works.
Does it work still?
Yeah.
See, I've never done it, and I'm like
probably
blind,
17, 18 years ago.
That's scary.
But I mean, I would assume if I went to go get LASIK now, I'm sure it's a lot more detailed process. But you would assume that there would be almost if you were getting on a crazy roller coaster, they'd be like, hey. Head and neck pain.
And think of like Joan Rivers, she died on the table, but it was because the doctor stopped to take pictures.
Selfies,
So all of that is not in the fine print. So you can sue for a wrongful death. But if this is part of the complications of the medical procedure, I think a good defense attorney could easily win this.
But she has potential earnings, so she's like, I can never be a supermodel because I don't feel mentally, she said.
But she
like
signed that away she gave that risk away. She said, I'm taking that risk.
Well, she didn't say this could end my career. She probably said I could die on the table, all the things that you say.
Well, I wonder if the CoolSculpt said it could cause lumps in. Because if you did, I would think it would. And to have that, what's your argument?
But
that you didn't know?
It also depends on where she went.
Yeah.
You know, because like my girl watches Botched nonstop.
Oh, Botched is crazy.
And so, you know, that's all they do is deal with like malpractice from a plastic surgeon. So, I don't know.
The members of our con questioned my identity and means. This author has been doing but one thing. Honing my skills.
Welcome back. That was a sneak peek at season 2 of the hit Netflix show Bridgerton. It premieres on March 25th. But if you can't wait that long, guess what? There's a new Bridgerton-inspired reality dating show that Al loves called The Courtship, coming to NBC on March 6th. Let's take a look.
Once upon a time,
modern dating, it's not working.
A young woman began a quest for true love.
We're in a fairy tale.
You've been transported back in time.
Can the old ways of courtship lead to new romance?
More etiquette and being proper and chivalry. I'm loving this.
A journey where swiping is out and courting is in.
So the women's parents are also involved meeting and weeding out her 16 suitors. So your parents are there as well.
That is ridiculous.
That is just,
ridiculous. Like, we're not in that time. That's ridiculous. And if you meet anybody in those circumstances, it's not going to work out.
How about like I don't like a Civil War reenactment?
You know? It's like super weird. It's like when you go to
Oregon Trail.
Yeah, it's first of all, I don't like that they're just taking the cool stuff like the fashion. I'm like, if you want to be old school, like we're going. I don't want no antibacterial soap. No I don't think toothpaste was invented yet. No deodorant. Do you know how bad it smelled back then? Do you know what those horses smelled like? It was awful. There was no seasoning. Lowry's wasn't coming for 100 years. You're just eating disgusting food, and everybody smells terrible.
But let me
I don't know why we're romanticizing this period. This is the worst time in human history.
I'll give you one word. I'll give you the
Do you know what it smelled like?
Okay.
I think it's the worst.
There was the Spanish Inquisition. That was pretty bad.
I mean, I'm not talking about like famine. I'm just saying like in terms of like look. First of all, everything was gaudy. It was weak.
But let me just say this. Because I know girlfriends and guy friends that have been ghosted in this new way of dating, which is all on your phone and it's not personal, a lot of people want to go back to when I wooed you, when I courted you, when I gave you the respect and time, when I met your parents, when we made a fruitful relationship. And I think a lot of people will watch this because they're yearning for that.
You know what? People were still getting ghosted in those times.
Exactly.
Let me tell you, if you just break the news,
showing up at dinner
information because we're on Tinder and you got to tell your friend the next day, oh, I got ghosted.
There was a different culture and respect, I think, around dating than there is now. Because of dating apps. I think that's fair to say.
People act like stuff
was more
just started.
Respect?
Yeah, people act like stuff that people have been cheating. People have been doing all this stuff throughout history. It just
Do you know
was
how
like,
easy it was to cheat in the 1850s?
No, but I think back then you
are.
take what you could get. Right? They don't have like all these options to swipe through villages. If there's a woman in that village and there's 20 guys, you do the math, right? so you're lucky.
That goes on the reel.
And just all the clothes are just like, even if you did get to romance, it would just take forever.
My sister
The man's got
loves
4
that.
vests on.
No, my sister loves the back in the days, the Austin times, those sort of
If I could go back to any time, I would say, okay, let's go to like Egypt, so I can just walk around as the queen. And all
But like, what year in Egypt? Like 83?
But people get together, you know, with those weird like wizard things.
Yeah,
that
Renaissance
they do.
fairs.
Yeah, whatever. And yeah, the Renaissance fair.
course.
And if they meet people like that,
You guys
'cause they
have that in
similar-
common. Like, you genuinely
they
like
want
this.
to take
I don't
the
know. Just
time.
looking at the beginning video, that girl doesn't seem like she genuinely loves. First of all, she wasn't even English. They were like, everyone was English besides her. She's just walking in like, yeah, talking with her New York accent or whatever. What is that?
She was supposed to be on TV.
I think it's going to do very well. I think people are wishing for a more romantic, slower time.
Yes, and then you have to go back to Milwaukee or wherever you live and go back to your apartment. Like, why would you even set yourself up to be depressed like this? Just live your life and be an adult. Stop trying to be an 8-year-old princess.
No,
it's
an
over.
escape. It's why we read books about what, you know, like ripping her corset, her bodice, because that's exciting.
He get ripped right off the air for saying that.
Yeah.
Coming up on DBL, Darius Rucker, he tells us all about his time touring on the road and how his band, Hootie and the Blowfish, got together.
This was...
Our server has detected some suspicious hacking activities on your Apple account. Please do not use your Apple devices until you speak with an Apple support representative.
So, let's verify. Are scammers impersonating Apple support to try to steal your iCloud account information? Our sources are Apple Support, the Better Business Bureau, and the Federal Trade Commission. The FTC says this is just a new take on an old scam. Someone calls you up with a scary problem and then cheerfully explains they can quickly resolve it. Instead, simply hang up, because the BBB says this call has all of the red flags of a scam. First, this supposed call from Apple comes from a New York phone number that's not associated with Apple. Even if the caller ID shows Apple, the BBB warns it might just be a scammer spoofing the company's number. Next, there's the urgency of the call. The FTC says scammers like to make you act before you can think.
In order to speak right now, press 1.
Both the FTC and Apple Support say never press 1 or call a phone number shared during the call. So take a breath and independently check your account using a trusted method. Odds are there's nothing wrong. The scammer is simply trying to get access to your data or may try charging you for their services only to walk away with your money. So we can verify it's true. Scammers are impersonating Apple Support to try to steal your iCloud account information. The BBB says the best thing you can do is simply not answer these calls and set up two-factor authentication on your iCloud account to add an extra layer of security. If you do think there's a real problem, then don't look for help from the caller. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
Sunshine, bonfires in summertime, back porch nights in South Carolina. Ain't nothing finer than me and my girl striking up a little lighter, 'cause everybody's down in a world gone crazy.
I love that song. Don't know the lyrics. He's one of country music's biggest stars, and let's not forget, he was also the frontman of Hootie and the Blowfish. Earlier, we spoke with the incredibly talented Darius Rucker.
Please welcome to DBL the incredibly talented Darius Rucker.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. What's up?
Hey, you guys.
So, Darius, you've been to the Super Bowl more than a dozen times, and you just got back from this year's game. What did you think of the halftime show?
It was great. It was, you know, I watched so many people relive their childhood right there, you know, and it was great to watch. And the testament to Dre that he produced all those big hits. And I thought it was one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah, you're in agreement with all of us. We all loved it. We ate it up. We wanted more. Now, fellow country star Mickey Guyton sang the national anthem. How do you think she did?
Oh, she did great. You know, I've known Mickey a long time, and her voice is simply amazing. And to be there doing that, you know, when you're doing the national anthem at the Super Bowl, you really made it. And you know, to be up there doing it, I was so proud of her and so happy for her. She did a great job.
I feel like I really made it because I'm interviewing Darius Rucker.
I know.
I'm very excited about this. Very excited. So I have an interesting story that me and Sam and we want to hear the answer too.
Yes.
Hootie and the Blowfish started after a fellow student heard you singing in a dorm room shower? Do you sing all the time in the shower? And who was this person who found you?
Yeah, how did a teenager discover you? Tell us.
I sing in the shower all the time, and it was probably like 10 o'clock in the morning. I really thought everybody was in class. And so we had the big prison showers, you know, just 6 heads, no curtains.
Oh my God.
And so I was in there taking a shower. I didn't think anybody was there, and I was singing Billy Joel's Honesty to the top of my lungs, you know, because it sounds so good in the shower. And when I came out, Mark Bryan, who's the guitar player at Hootie, was standing there, and he was like, "Man, was that you singing?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he asked if we wanted to get together and see if we knew any of the same songs, and I said, "Sure," and we did, and we knew a lot of the Blowfish started.
Wow.
I mean,
That's unbelievable.
Lightning in a bottle.
I know.
You were inducted to the Grand Ole Opry. Now, Morgan performed there as well, and obviously he's had the controversy with the N-word. Just in your opinion, do you think that they should have let him perform?
You know, I think what Morgan said was every bad adjective you can say was wrong. I told him to his face, I thought it was stupid. It was dumb. You know, I understand all the people in the uproar is doing so good. I understand why the Opry let him play. I can't tell the Opry what to do. But the thing that I really wish instead of always, when something like that goes down, instead of always canceling somebody, I wish we would start to educate people. I wish, you know, instead of just canceling Morgan, let's sit Morgan down and talk to him and see. Because Morgan's one of those guys that if he wanted to change the culture, he could be one of the people that changes the culture of country music.
Well said.
We like to do that here.
We appreciate your transparency. But between Hootie and the Blowfish and your solo career, you've toured for over 30 years.
Wow.
What's the scariest thing that happened to you while on the road?
Oh goodness. This was a long time ago. We were playing a show. I think we were in LA or something. We're playing a show, and we're backstage after the show, and I look over, and there's this guy, and he's in his mid-20s, and he's got on a 3-piece suit, and it's all white. I mean, white shirt, white vest, white socks, everything's white shoes. And so everybody's talking, he's standing by himself, and I walk over to him, and I go, "Hey, man, you know, nice to meet you. What's your name?" And he just looked me right in the eye and said, "I'm your guardian angel."
What?
And so, man, I freak out, right? Because I believe, you know, I'm freaking out. And it goes, so I tell everybody, and, you know, he sticks around, but then he leaves. And so about a week later, we're playing in Vegas at the Hard Rock. And there's this area in the Hard Rock that you can't get without a pass. It's very private. It's only for the bands. And we're walking in to play the show. And I open the door and I turn and look, and he's standing right there. And he said, "I'm still watching you." And I ran like a little girl.
Who was he? Wait, first of all, Darius, did anybody else see him?
Is he a real guardian?
Oh, yeah.
Good question. That was a great question.
We were having fun. We weren't having that much fun.
Oh my God. Okay. Wow. That I did not expect that at all.
Darius, you got a tour coming up. I'm gonna be dressed in all white. So I'll see that.
I know, right? And it's intimate because it's theaters. So you would stick right out. In fact, to all of our viewers out there, if you want to see Darius perform live, it's much more intimate. Check out his tour schedule by visiting DariusRucker.com. His tour will kick off in Philadelphia on February 17th. So you guys got to get your tickets now. Darius, thank you so much for joining us today. You are incredible.
Thank you, guys.
Good luck with everything. We'll be right back. Thanks, Darius.
Probably heard something about NFTs, or non-fungible tokens. NFTs are unique items that can be traded virtually, like audio files, ebooks, digital artwork, and even photos. And if you have a cryptocurrency wallet, you can cash in on your NFTs. In recent weeks, headlines highlight people creating and cashing in their NFTs for a big payday.
I just turned 5K into 10K by flipping this NFT.
A former financial advisor explains in a skit on TikTok, which has more than 266,000 views, that if a person made a profit from NFTs, they should consider setting aside money for taxes.
Wait, what? Buying and selling NFTs could actually create 2 taxable events.
So, do you have to pay taxes if you sold an NFT? Let's verify. Our sources are the IRS and Amy Miller, a certified public accountant and a member of the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants Virtual Currency Tax Task Force. NFTs are one-of-a-kind, non-fungible assets that are not interchangeable. Because each NFT is wholly unique, it's not intended to be used as a kind of currency, like Bitcoin. Instead, NFTs are bought and sold as collectibles or investments. In a 2021 NFT market report, Chainalysis explains that, quote, NFTs give the holder ownership over the data, media, or object the token is associated with, and are commonly bought and sold on specialized marketplaces, unquote. When there's a transaction involving those digital files, it's recorded on the blockchain, which is like a virtual paper trail for all transactions. The IRS has yet to give a definitive label to NFTs. On its website, the agency explains, quote, virtual currency is treated as property, and general tax principles applicable to property transactions apply to transactions using virtual currency, unquote. In other words, even though NFTs are strictly digital assets, they're still taxed just like physical assets.
If you're in the business and that is your small business to make NFTs, yes, you're taxable. The IRS has a question at the top of the Form 1040 asking, at any time during 2021, did you receive, sell, exchange, or otherwise dispose of any financial interest in any virtual currency? And taxpayers are required to answer yes or no to that question.
So we can verify, yes, you have to pay taxes if you sold an NFT and made a profit. With your Verify, I'm Ariane Till.
The sliding sports are among the fastest winter events, but while bobsled offers the most speed, luge and skeleton are more treacherous. In bobsled, teams push as fast as they can at the start, then hop in the sled. The driver does their best to traverse the narrow, banked, iced course, while the rest of the team is there for the ride. In addition to 2-man, 4-man, and 2-woman bobsled, the new single-person monobob event is being introduced for women. For luge and skeleton, the athletes ride atop their sleds at more than 80 miles an hour with nothing but a helmet protecting them. Skeleton riders get a running start, then slide headfirst all the way down, using their bodies to control the sled. Competitions are limited to men's and women's singles. In luge, 1 or 2 athletes ride on their back using their bodies to steer. In addition to doubles and men's and women's singles, there is a team relay event.
Welcome back to DBL. If you want to live longer, eat more veggies. It's time for a healthcare update sponsored by Go Health. So according to researchers in Norway, people who eat mainly fruits, vegetables, beans, and grains, and very little meat will add years to their life. They say an 80-year-old person who starts a plant-based diet could add 3 years to their life expectancy. Wow, who knew? Nice. If you're looking for a health insurance plan, Go Health makes it easy to enroll. Call 1-800-650-2534 or visit gohealth.com to find the plan that's right for you.
Bro, I'm baby stepping towards, I wouldn't say veganism,
but you're close, aren't
but
you?
I do really like just veggies. Like and now kind of when I have meat, I'm like, my stomach's like, hey.
How about this? Is fish considered meat?
That's a great. Now, if you just eat fish and veggies, you're called a pescatarian. So you have to add another word.
That wasn't quite the answer I was looking for, but yeah, very helpful.
It is. It's meat. It's off of a bone. Yeah, I go with meat as opposed to what? Veggies?
I'm going no meat. No meat.
Pescatarian.
We'll see you tomorrow.